our PowerPoint presentation, and it is about PHE Physical and Health Education 1-2 for DPPE and DJPE. I'm the presenter, Mrs. Ansie Steyn, and my contact email is ansiesteyn@hotmail.com. Now, good evening. This contact class is to help you prepare for the examinations of the subject DPPE and DJPE PHE12. I will discuss some of the content of your study guide in order to help you prepare for the coming exams. By now, you should have a good idea what the subject is about because you have completed an assignment and studied the study guide systematically. Please note that I cannot give attention to the whole content, so should you have any questions, please contact me for help. You can either phone me or mail me, and in the latter case, I can send you a well-constructed, detailed answer to your question. Please also note that you only need to study for your study guide for these exams. Before you study the actual content, you first need to acquaint yourself with the learning outcomes of each unit. These learning outcomes form the core of your studies and guide you through the content and can be found at the beginning of each unit. After you've studied this, you will know what the unit is all about, and thereafter you must look at the learning activities which follow the learning outcomes. This is very important. It will be wise to do all these activities to the best of your ability before looking at the answers at the end of each unit. After you've completed them, you can go back to the answers at the end of the unit and measure your knowledge against the complete answers. In this way, you will get to know the content and also will know how questions can be asked in the exams. The study guide contains adequate information and facts. It is not necessary to study from any other source for the exams. Remember, please. I'm going to discuss each unit separately and stress the most important facts. Please make sure to take note of these and get to know the facts by heart. Remember that when answering a question, facts from different parts of the study guide can be applicable. It is not necessarily limited to one part of the guide. It is important to note that although physical and health education may seem as a non-exam subject for learners and a period where learners are encouraged to explore in a less formal environment, you as teacher should exactly know how to keep them busy and how and why certain activities should be presented. Therefore, the teacher should know certain facts about the subject PHE, as well as the correct procedures regarding the presentation of PHE. It is therefore of utmost importance that you, as student teacher, should know facts regarding the subject PHE. I stress this because some students are of the opinion that this subject does not need to be studied for, and then they do poorly in the exams. Take time to know your study guide in order to present adequate facts during the exams. Now, I'm going to give you just a few hints for the examinations. Write neatly and legibly. You may use blue or black pen. Please do not even consider being dishonest. If found out, you will receive a 0 for the question paper. You may not leave the exam room before 30 minutes have expired. And if you do leave, you may not come back to continue answering the question paper. Also, you may not leave the exam venue during the last 15 minutes of the exams. Remember to sign the checklist. No smoking or eating is allowed in the room. Only paper provided by the invigilator will be accepted. So if you need more paper to answer questions, ask them to provide you with paper. If you turn up 30 minutes after the exams have started, you will not be allowed to write, and this will result in no turn up. And make sure to know what is expected of you when a question is asked. Read through the verbs thinking processes that is in 7 at the beginning of the study guide. For example, define means you must give the precise, brief meaning of something. And describe means you have to give detailed features of an issue. So make sure to know them. Please note that short answer questions will be asked, and the following kinds of questions can be asked. First one, definitions. For example, the definition of eye-hand coordination. Now, if you read it in the study guide, it is defined as the ability to make hands do what the eyes direct them to do. I'm going to give you another example. Eye-food coordination, eye-food coordination. This is defined as the ability to make the feet do what the eyes direct them to do. Or you can explain, can you explain what dominance entails? Look it up in Unit 4 in the DPPE and DJPE study guides. For you to know the short answers, you have to know the content of the study guide. So make sure to know the facts. Let us look at each unit now. Because the DPPE and DJPE PHE12 courses have been combined, I will discuss the DJPE study guide, but also indicate where to find the same content in the DPPE study guide. So please give attention to Unit 1 in both study guides. This unit is about the physical education opportunities for pre-primary learners. The first important aspect in this unit are the aims for and benefits of presenting physical education to young learners. Now, in the DJPE study guide, you will find it in 1.1.1, and in the DPPE study guide, you will find it in 1.1.6. Physical education develops attitudes and practices and promote positive competition. Also, does physical education widen the learner's movement experience? These are only a few benefits of physical education. Study to know them all. Very important also are the physical development abilities of different age groups, as discussed in 1.1.3 in the DJPE study guide and 1.1.1 in the pre-primary study guide. Young children can master certain activities at certain ages. For example, a child of 5 years can hop and skip, dress without help, and has good balance. As where a child of 7 years can already stand on one foot, what the 5-year-old can't do, with eyes closed for 3 seconds and walk on a line. A child of 9, for example, can roll, can bat, can kick and throw a ball. This is very important for a teacher to know, these developmental milestones, so that the teacher cannot expect from, say, a 5-year-old child to bat with great success. You have to know all these milestones for all ages up to 12. Also in Unit 1, it is discussed in detail what certain relaxation activities entail. Turn to 1.9 in the Junior Primary Study Guide and 1.8 in the Pre-Primary Study Guide to find these activities. I'm going to discuss a few. The technique of sigh breathing is discussed in detail. Make sure to know how it should be instructed to the learners. Also, abdominal breathing is discussed in full here. This involves inhaling air deep into the lungs so that the diaphragm contracts downward and the abdomen expands. How to let learners do this exercise is set out in full in 1.9 and 1.8 as said previously. Study that to know the facts. Also, progressive muscle relaxation is set out. It is the exercise that involves contracting of a specific muscle group. As mentioned previously, a teacher should know all these exercises in order to present PE in a meaningful way. There are many other aspects covered in this unit, so turn to the learning activities to study them so that you cover the most important aspects of this unit. After you've read through each unit, answer the learning activity questions on your own and look up the correct answers at the end of each unit to monitor whether you know the content of the specific unit. This is very important. The learning activities and the answers are at the end of each unit. Remember that PE is an important subject at school and you should know the facts in order to present it successfully. So facts are asked in the exams, not just an overview of the subject. I experienced that many students think they need not study the subject and then do poorly in the exams. So we're finished with Unit 1 now. Let's turn to Unit 2, where the gross motor movements, that's the large motor movements, are set out in detail. And in 2.1.2, that's in both study guides, certain activities on how to develop gross motor skills using a ball are described. For example, firstly, they can throw and catch a large ball and then do the same activities using a smaller ball and then a very small ball. Why gross motor movements? Because they use their hands, the larger muscles are exercised, and when they kick a stationary or moving ball, bounce a ball while they are walking, etc., they use their feet and the large motor skills are then developed through that. In fact, there are many interesting games with a ball to play, which are also educational. Look them up and study them. Also in 2.1.2, other activities to develop gross motor skills are discussed, like games, that Simon says, 1-foot balance and jumping jacks, etc. Study them all to have a good overview what a teacher can do to help develop these gross motor skills. Another skill which should be developed is spatial awareness. Now, what's spatial awareness? It is the ability to relate ourselves to objects in a given space, and how to develop spatial awareness can be found in 2.7.3, also in both study guides. Games such as Follow My Leader and action songs are examples where spatial awareness are developed. Follow the Leader entails that the leader of a group, not larger than 8 learners, do certain actions and the followers should copy these actions. Action songs are songs where learners also do certain actions while singing what they are doing. They find this very entertaining. Also, climbing and balancing activities develop spatial awareness. In fact, there are many more. Study them all to know what to do in this regard. Can you remember what to study after you've read through each unit? Yes, remember to always read the questions of the learning activities and try to answer them. But after you've answered them, turn to the feedback on learning activities, which you will find at the end of each unit. Now see whether you could present all the facts given here. This is an easy way to test yourself and the knowledge you've gained while studying each unit. And I recommend that very strongly. Unit 3 is very interesting in the way that the development of the fine muscles are discussed. Fine muscles include the muscles of the fingers and the tongue and also the eyes. So eye movements are very important for visual development. If eye movement is not smooth, the learner's visual perception will remain incomplete. In both study guides, in 3.2.2, tongue movements are set out. This whole paragraph, that's 3.2.2, is important to know. Study it in detail and also acquaint yourself with isometric exercises. Why is tongue movement important? It helps you with speech development and it improves pronunciation. That's why we do tongue movement exercises, to help with speech development and to help improve pronunciation. Now, rhythm also can contribute to the development of fine muscles. In 3.4 of both study guides, this is explained how. Rhythm can be developed with or without the use of music. It is a form of expression of feelings and of thoughts. There are 4 levels to be explored through the rhythm. So how can rhythm develop fine muscles? You as teacher can let them do tongue exercises while listening to music. In that way, they also learn to be creative in thinking out their own expressions. Or you can let them do hand and finger motions while listening to the beat of the drum. Or let them make lip or even eye movements while saying a rhyme according to a certain rhythm, with or without music. In fact, there are so many actions to be done with or without music, using the hands, the fingers, the lips, and the tongue. Look them up and study them in 3.4 in detail, and also know the developmental levels so that you do not expect them to do motions if they're not physically ready for them. Here again, you will notice that facts should be known in order to present physical education in a meaningful and correct way. As in other units, remember to study the learning activities. Now we go to Unit 4, where it is about body parts, their functions, and dominance preferences. Learners do not automatically know which side is left and which side is right. It also should be taught to them, and how to do this is explained in 4.4.1 in both study guides. Also in 4.4.2, there are some fun activities to teach children left and right. In 4.1 for Unit 4, the body parts and functions are discussed. This knowledge will help you understand the aims of PE better. So make sure to know what each body part's function is. The body uses muscles to make us move. Muscles are attached to the bones. So to move our bodies efficiently, the muscles must be exercised in the correct way. And that we do while we present a physical education class. The positive thing about PE is that skills can be taught through songs and playing games. Make sure to know how to teach learners left and right using games and songs, and also activities as explained in 4.4.1. But a teacher also needs to know which side, hand and foot, is the dominant one, the preferred one of a child. This is quite easy to determine, as set out in 4.3 in both study guides. Let them pick up a cup. Let them wink with one eye, or throw or kick a ball. This will give a teacher an indication of the dominancy of a learner. Interesting to know is that a child may write with the right hand, but kick with the left foot, for instance. But a teacher should know the facts I discussed above regarding dominancy. We're finished with Unit 4, so let's go to Unit 5 now. This is about symptoms of a tense and relaxed body. In other words, it is about the symptoms and causes of stress. Physical education opportunities for pre-primary learners, DJPE. There are many symptoms of stress as set out in both study guides in 5.1, like frequent headaches, difficulty breathing, rashes, itching. There are so many symptoms, and a good teacher should know and identify them in his or her learners. But stress can be managed effectively by making small changes in life. For example, by accepting circumstances if they cannot be changed, by using laughter as an outlet for stress. Stress release techniques and many more ways how to manage stress are set out in 5.3 in the DJPE study guide and in 5.2.2 in the DPPE study guide. Study to know these facts. Like all previous units, study and know the learning activities also. Now let us turn to Unit 6, where high and low self-esteem are discussed in detail. Issues pertaining to healthy nutrition and living are also discussed in Unit 6 in detail. This unit is about health, and a low self-esteem is dangerous for oneself, as explained in 6.5.2 of both study guides. High levels of self-esteem strengthen mental and physical health, whereas a low self-esteem increases stress and leads to unhealthy behaviors such as smoking and alcohol abuse. It also weakens the body's immune system, and it affects the social behavior of a person. For instance, a person with a low self-esteem will not have the courage to take the opportunity to make friends out of free will. Therefore, it is the responsibility of a teacher to help their learners develop a good, positive self-esteem. Now, I do not have time to discuss all the facts regarding this important issue, but study them in detail. This knowledge can also help you in the identifying and handling of stressed out children in your class. As always, will it be worthwhile to study all the learning activities and learning outcomes of this unit? Now, this concludes my discussion of the study guide. Please note that time does not allow me to discuss the whole content of the guide, but many important facts were discussed during this class. Make sure to give attention to all the points I've discussed. We now have worked through the study guide and highlighted the most important content. Start studying by working through the study guide systematically and doing it unit by unit, giving special attention to the content of this contact class. Good luck with this. Start early and study every day, even if it's only half an hour or an hour of constructive study per day. It will help you getting acquainted with the work. I invite you to contact me should you have any questions or uncertainties regarding your subject. Enjoy the studies and do your best.